Hi everybody, this is Dee at Aloha Astro, and today we are looking at the energies of a full moon in the cardinal fire sign of Aries, and that occurred at 7:26 a.m. Eastern Time today, October 17th, 2024, and it was at 24 degrees 35 minutes of Aries. So let's take a look at the forecast for this energy. Full moon in Aries, Thursday, October 17th, signals the arrival of a crossroads turning point of transformation and change, which may feel like a death and rebirth, activating intense emotions which dip into the depths of grief, fear, or despair, and soar to the heights of joy, love, and hope, as the moon conjunct Chiron in Aries forms a challenging cardinal grand cross with the Sun in Libra, Mars in Cancer, and Pluto in Capricorn. All the stirring up of drama, trauma, and pain, and the subsequent release and catharsis is a necessary part of coming into self-awareness, empowerment, and sovereignty. As a grand trine, two kites, a mystic rectangle, and a castle overlaying the grand cross amplify the combined supportive energies of Venus in Scorpio, Mars in Cancer, Uranus in Taurus, Neptune in Pisces, and Pluto in Capricorn, to lift you to a higher level and facilitate manifesting what you need and desire, and living who you are, once you know what that might be. Jupiter in Gemini trine to the Sun and sextile to the Moon in Chiron opens paths to abundance and brings new people who are like-minded and good for you into your life. Mercury in Scorpio square to Pluto in Capricorn, but trine to Capricorn's ruling planet Saturn in Pisces, indicates your mindset is the key to overcoming your challenges, achieving success, and manifesting your dreams on the inner and outer levels. But it might look messy, feel uncomfortable, and require some personal sacrifice. What doesn't kill me makes me stronger, and I am one with the all that is are both true now. So let's take a look at how things appear in the sky. And it's always challenging to synthesize and sum up the key features and energy patterns when the sky is so very busy, and we have both those red lines you see creating the activations, the challenge, the tension, the friction, the push, and then we have the ease and flow and support, the natural talents, abilities, blessings that are coming from the blue lines that you see going on between the planets. And we have pretty much an equal mix of both right now. Let's see if there's any planet that stands apart where it is not particularly challenged, and actually it is the planet of change, Uranus, that is relatively well supported, a bit more than challenged, although it does oppose Venus right now at the final degree of Scorpio. So we have some urgency to create that change and to figure out what it is that we do want, while we have Venus at its very final degree of Scorpio before entering Sagittarius. The Moon and the Sun, of course, opposed here in that grand cross with Mars in Cancer and Pluto in Capricorn. And we also have Pluto, which recently came out of retrograde, is now back in forward motion, and it is at 29 degrees as well. And we see a sextile between these two planets, Venus and Pluto. Pluto always does intensify or magnify whatever other planets it's involved with. And you can see it's involved in a supportive kite here with Venus and Neptune, and Mars is part of that kite, but we do have that opposition. And then both Pluto and Mars, which are already rather intense and volatile planets, are squaring the Moon and the Sun, which oppose each other. So it is literally like a crossroads or a turning point under extreme pressure that does highlight these particular signs. And if you have any placements in the cardinal signs, you would be feeling this full moon strongly. Um, we've got the overtones of relationship, and while the sun is highlighting Libra, that can be diplomacy, strategy, compromise, negotiation, arguing, looking for the win-win, or feeling like we are not getting the help or assistance or agreement from uh, the particular person or entity or group that we are attempting to negotiate with. And it really does depend upon how you're looking at it and where you're placing your time, your focus, your attention. Pretty much if you're seeing or choosing to see things from entirely a negative perspective, you will probably see more of that. And if you are looking for what's good, you also may see more of that. But there's still a reality check going on with Jupiter square to Saturn. Um, yes, there are other options or alternatives and other ways of thinking, being, or doing, as Mercury is making that trine to Saturn and the Sun is making a trine to Jupiter. But the square in there with the planet of growth and the planet of form and structure, and it's basically saying yes, but you have to be a realist too. On some level, we have to be in two worlds right now, both material and spiritual, because we do have the planet that has a lot to do with higher level beingness, the planet Neptune, which is also a planet of beauty, healing, inspiration, as well as victim, savior, martyr patterns. That's involved in that castle, which looks a lot like an envelope. It's also called an envelope, with Uranus, with Pluto, with Venus, and with Mars, and also forms part of there's so many overlapping things, it can get confusing trying to see them all. Um, Here we have a kite with Neptune, Uranus, Mars, and Venus. We've got that mystic rectangle, Venus, Mars, Uranus, Pluto, which form the body of the castle. And we have another kite, and the grand trine is in the body of both the kites, with Mars, Venus, Neptune, and Pluto. Obviously, looking for what's better, or trying harder, or thinking bigger. If opportunities for growth are in front of you, to take them rather than remain in stagnation or limitation, whether you are the one being limited or you're limiting somebody else. Uh, that Aries Libra opposition means it takes two to tango. It's not just one. There's always going to be the energy of the other at play, and a lot of what you might be experiencing could be things that are literally a mirror showing you something inside of yourself and your own nature at this time. But those outer planets in those favorable aspect patterns, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, are there to help and assist you to basically transform, inspire, and change. Definitely looking at the realistic and more material side, the aspects such as Saturn making that trine to not just Mercury, but also Mars. That's constructive. And here we have a trine between Mars and Neptune. That is also, it talks about putting your own sweat and tears into what you desire, that you have to work at it. You can't just wish it into being. Mars is a physical planet that takes actions, and It's the energy that initiates and gets things going, and it is the ruler of Aries. So we have strong Mars, Pluto, push going on behind that moon and sun right now. And one way or the other, even if you're choosing what you think is best for yourself and for others, unfortunately, because of the various squares and oppositions in here, not everybody's going to be happy about everything. Not everything may look wonderful. And that is just what is going to happen. Ultimately, you do have to find what is most rewarding for you, that enables you to grow and maximize your full potential so that you are able to be there for other people, that you are living your best life and fulfilling your potential so that you can be an effective person in relationships and in society. So it really is a case of seeing things from both the material perspective and the spiritual perspective, and not just intending, wishing, affirming, working magic, doing ceremonies or whatever, but also showing up and taking action and doing things to the best of your ability to basically show that you have some skin in the game, that you are willing to do what it takes to manifest whatever it is that you wish to achieve. Do be careful though in transportation, in connecting with people who maybe are unstable, simply because there may be things that are beyond your ability to deal with. And even if you go in with good intentions, if the person or larger organization that you are coming up against, even if you're looking to help in some way, there may be resistance. There may also be simply more actual power physically or materially to counteract you than what you have to basically go to war with. So we have strong warrior energy under that Aries moon, and choose your actions and your battles and your words very carefully, because even the very best of intentions are not always seen as such. Let's take a look at the Sabian symbol for, we round up to 25 degrees. The possibility for man to gain experience at 2 levels of being. Keynote, the revelation of new potentialities. In some unspecified way, the symbol is a guarantee that man can operate successfully at 2 levels of consciousness if he has previously met the condition mentioned in the preceding symbol. Well, we'll have to go back and look at that one. Be open, be able and willing to shape your translucent mind in the form revealing spiritual fulfillment, and you will be able to experience life and power on inner as well as outer planes. The implied message is one of faith. Man can only truly experience what he deeply believes he can experience. And I should say we can only manifest what we believe we can receive as well. This is the last stage of this 5th five-fold sequence of cyclic phases. It announces the possibility of a new step in evolution, but it is still only a possibility, a promise. The individual is truly on probation. I'm curious about the symbol preceding. And technically we're at 24 degrees 35 minutes, but we do round up when we're looking at the symbols, but we still would have some of this energy here. Blown inward by the wind, the curtains of an open window take the shape of a cornucopia. Keynote, openness to the influx of spiritual energies. Well, that is definitely in alignment with the strong Neptune influence we have in a grand shrine kite castle, all playing around with Neptune. The principle of abundance is brought to a further stage in this rather cryptic symbol. Physical fruition is shown operating at a more subtle and spiritual level. The wind, pneuma, spirit, blows through the open mind window and brings into the house of personality a promise of more than material potency. And that does feel too kind of like the incarnation that comes in with a rebirth. Wind blows from a region of high pressure to one of low pressure. As the window curtains are blown inward, the individual consciousness represented by the house is receiving a more concentrated influx of spiritual energies, enabling this consciousness to extend the scope of its awareness and creative expression. This message applying to this fourth stage of the fivefold sequence is that inner growth demands not just an open mind, but one able to provide a container for a spiritual harvest. Well, Mars in Cancer, the womb and the symbiosis and nurturing energy that's being pulled into play in the Grand Cross would definitely be the container, the containment, and the Pluto in Capricorn, the grounding medium, the constructive medium upon which it's nurtured. And let's see, the cornucopian shape of the window's curtains suggests that the subtler translucent aspect of the mind, the curtains, has acquired a plastic quality, enabling it to be molded by transpersonal forces. There, transpersonal planets are active in those larger aspect patterns right now. Neptune, Pluto, Uranus, transpersonal planets that are in place, and basically everybody's getting some sort of an energy upgrade. And I remember one time, I don't know if this was in a class or I saw it in a book, but it showed the progression of spiritual growth and understanding. And if it's basically you're starting at ground level at the bottom and then you climb uphill, 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 the higher up you go, the if you are to stop or fall down, uh, it's in many ways more detrimental than if you are falling down when you're lower along your progress line. So if you're sliding back downhill when you've only gone up partially versus you're near the top, it's easier to regain your lost ground and get back on the path when you've fallen off lower down. Uh, Many people may be having serious shakeups with the energy patterns we have right now. And I would say turn to the faith and the willpower and determination that Neptune and Pluto are giving you to stick it out rather than fall back down. And many things that we plant take time for them to grow. And some things in your life might be a question of timing, that you're expecting to see results now, but they're not here yet. That doesn't mean that they will never be. Ultimately, though, you do have to feel out your own energy and that of whatever else is against you or opposing you in some way to discern what is the best option or choice to continue to engage or to disengage, to direct your attention elsewhere. Keep your mind open, definitely, as the Sabian symbols suggest, because we do have Jupiter in Gemini, and within a day or two, we're going to have Venus enter Sagittarius, which is generally more open-minded than Venus in all or nothing Scorpio. We still have a bit of time in the Scorpio season with both Mercury and the Sun is a few days away from entering Scorpio, but we're already going to be getting a taste of Sagittarius right around the corner here. And we have Gemini energy, and they do rule houses 3 and 9, which are thinking and communicating houses, and they are mutable signs. So do stay open in the midst of all this cardinal I'm right type of energy that this Grand Cross is giving you, because you're not the only one thinking you are right. Everybody else is too. And in many ways, yes, you're right, they're right. We have to determine what is right for us individually and in a way that's going to be of the best benefit to others. If we are not authentic in ourselves and truly ourselves, then we are cheating others of that, of the gift of who we are. That's it for this full moon. And remember that Aries says, I am. Choose your words carefully when you make your I am statements. Take care and stay safe.